Jenny Cervantes from Sacramento Elementary School. So I'm going to share something. Every sentence that I say, you're going to repeat it. And it's from Ashasta Shakur. We're going to repeat it multiple times. Ready? It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love each other and support each other.
We must love each other and support each other.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love each other and support each other.
We must love each other and support each other.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
Just one more time. It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love each other and support each other.
We must love each other and support each other.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
Thank you everyone for coming today.
My name is Marissa Martino. I'm 15 years old. I'm black and my life matters. The black community right now, we lost a brother, a father, an uncle, and lastly a son. And once again, it was at the hands of law enforcement. We're hurting, we're scared, we're angry, we're hopeless, and we're fighting for what is right. I'm speaking on behalf of all my black people that would like to see some change. Because our lives matter and we don't want them to be taken away by those who swore to serve and most importantly protect us. I understand that some say that all lives matter, and those who believe that are blindsided by what is going on and see what's going on is not a problem, and that in itself is the problem. But the thing is, it's not all lives being taken away by police every other week. It's not all lives that are scared to leave their own home. It's not all lives that seem to be a threat to law enforcement. It's not all lives that are falsely accused of stealing every time they walk into a store. It's the black lives. Eric Garner could not breathe. George Floyd could not breathe. The black community cannot breathe. Thereby we protest, we march, we unite with one another because all we want is some damn air. But the white man just won't let us breathe. We haven't been able to breathe for decades now, and you know what? It's time for us to be able to take a breath and stand for what we believe. What we want is peace, and what others want is quiet. We are done being quiet. I went down to the protest the other day. Walking into it, I was very scared. I did not know what to expect or what to see. What I had seen and what I experienced, what I felt was like nothing I've ever experienced or felt before. What I hold in my hand here is a painting I made the other day. Each name on here is a black person who was murdered by a police officer. You won't believe the amount of cases on here where the cop was never even arrested. This isn't even half the majority of those who lost their lives to this. Jeremy McDowell, a 28-year-old black man who was a paraplegic, and for those who don't know what that is, he was paralyzed from the waist down and was in a wheelchair. He was shot dead by cops while still in his wheelchair. He was unarmed. Trayvon Martin, a case we're all familiar with, he was just 17 years old when he was shot dead, and he was holding a bag of Skittles and an Arizona iced tea in his hand. Tamir Rice was just 12 years old when he was shot dead by cops also. He had a toy gun in his hand. Lastly, Jamarion Robinson was just 26 years old when he was shot 76 times by the U.S. Marshals. He was also unarmed. It's cases like these that keep me up at night and make me scared for my future. Will my 12-year-old brother be able to even make it to his own high school graduation someday? Will he have to fear for his life when he's my age? I sure hope not. We aren't land of the free until all of our people are free, but we are home of the brave. I mean, just look at the amount of people that came out here today risking their lives just to show their support. That says a lot about our community and how much we want to see change. All we can do is use our voices, our platforms to educate ourselves and each other, and hopefully there just might be some change in this country. White folks' recession is colored folks' depression. Without justice, there won't be peace, and in unity, there's power. Thank you.
Parkrose High School, and this is an awesome community. But there are secrets in this community. And the secrets are that even though we are very diverse, everybody is not treating everybody with equity. And so I'm just going to do it by, first of all, I just want to give another hand clap to that young lady who just wrote that amazing. If in the schools, we talk about where do we go from protest to solutions. Well, this is it right here. We are on a school campus, and we have to start in the institutions of education. We have to teach our young people all history, not just European history. We have to have conversations, courageous conversations about race. We have to teach our young people to have a voice no matter what color you are. I could give you a lot of sad stories, and I could tell you a lot of experiences that I have, but I know that nothing is going to change if we don't start looking at hope. And hope is in you if you are willing to act on it. So don't just say, I hear you, but act on it and do something about it. Because guess what? When this protest and all the protests that are going around globally, when it's over, that's when the real work begins. I'll tell you, it's really easy to hold a sign that says Black Lives Matter. It's easy to hold a sign. It's even easy to walk, all right? It's easy to do that. It's easy to just walk along with the crowd. There's people, whether you believe it or not, that are in this crowd that may not actually believe in their heart that Black Lives Matter. And they are in the audience. And see, people don't want to talk about that, but that is just the truth. Protests are exciting. They are. They're generating. So can we, when the crowd dies down, when the noise is now back to your everyday life, is your voice going to be loud then? Because that is what's going to make the difference. And so I wrote this a few minutes ago. It's the national anthem, my own version of it, and it's shorter. And I don't have a national anthem voice, but I don't care. It's about the words. All right, now I just wrote this like 2 minutes ago, so excuse me if it's not perfect. Oh, say, can you see? We have to change history. Where is humanity when lives are lost on bended knees? Let us stand and declare that every voice will be shared, gives proof to the night that our flag is still there. Oh, say, does that banner yet? Oh, well, I'll get louder. Oh, well, I'll try to project my voice. All right, here we go. So let me do my last verse, right? Oh,
don't I matter too? You're just being selfish. You know, white people get shot by police too. I say Black Lives Matter because right now our lives don't. I say Black Lives Matter because when I see a police, I'm afraid that they could take my life. I say Black Lives Matter because we're getting murdered in cold blood with no justice brought to us or our families. I say Black Lives Matter because when I have kids, I'm not only going to be teaching them how to turn right at the next exit, but to put their hands on the dashboard when the police approaches them. I say Black Lives Matter because my nephew, at the age of 6, was afraid that the police were going to shoot him down. I scream Black Lives Matter because the KKK, the largest terrorist organization, parades around in mass as police in blue. I scream Black Lives Matter because it took all of America to protest to get justice for a murder caught on camera. And without it, he would still be a police today. I scream Black Lives Matter because I fear for my life. Because my skin is a weapon to them. I scream Black Lives Matter because we are on stolen land built off our backs and they still treat us like crap. I scream Black Lives Matter because if I don't, who will? Thank you.
Well, I wish that I could introduce myself to y'all under different circumstances. My name is Coach Jackson. I am the new high school head football coach here at Parkrose. I thought that it was important that I come out here today, not only to show my face for this community, but to show my face for my culture. We are all one group of people. We just all look a little different, right? But the problem is not everybody understands that. But I'll tell you what, instead of me coming up here telling you about how bad I feel, I want to talk to you guys about some solutions. I think that that's important right now because there's a lot of us that feel bad, rightfully so, but there are also people like myself who think about what we can do differently and what we can do to help fix things. So part of the reason that I came to this school is because I wanted to make a change for people who wanted to have that change. I wanted to come here because I wanted to be around not only good people, but I wanted to be around a lot of people that look like me. And that's no disrespect to those of you that do not, but that's a big reason why I came here. I want to come and help everybody that I can. And I also think that with what's been brought to light, a lot of us are going to make that effort to join this community and make those changes. So now, look at all these people here, right? All of you, you're part of this community. I'm part of this community as well, and I'm asking you to support not only our school, but all of our programs. Let's get all of our students involved with lots of different things. Let's let them have more hope. Think about the future for themselves. We got kids that want to go to college. I want to do everything in my power to help make sure that some of my athletes go to different colleges. I know that a lot of other coaches are too. I want a lot of you guys to come out of this being hopeful for the future, thinking about how you can make those changes. Be proud of your school. Be proud of who you are. A big problem with us is that we have been so used to suppressing who we are that sometimes we feel lost in it. But this is your chance to finally embrace that. Embrace the culture. Our culture is pop culture. Think about it. Think about all these people wearing off-white, wearing J's. They want to be just like you. Y'all been doing that for years, man. Like, that's what y'all been on. But I'll tell you what. That means that everybody is embracing us, right? This moment, this is others embracing our struggle. So if you all want to make that change, listen to your black friend, listen to your Latino friend. If you're not sure, don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't feel shameful because you don't know what to say. Sometimes not saying nothing is the best thing as it is. Not as far as like not speaking up, but when you have a question, ask your friend and then listen. But don't listen to reply. Listen to understand. So what I'm telling you guys here right now, I'm gonna do my part to make a difference in this community, and you can always count on me to do that. I'm gonna be there to do so. And if anybody needs anything, you come find me, and I'll be right there with you. I promise you. I can get there fast. I ride a motorcycle. That's all I got for y'all. God bless. Real quick, one of the other places you like to speak as well? Can you go? Coach Wilson.
How's it going? I'm Coach Wilson. I'm assistant coach. I'm a little outside my wheelhouse here in terms of what we're doing, the message. A little bit about myself. I started out in the military. I was in special operations for 9 years. Transitioned into working for the intelligence community. I don't know a lot about what some of you are going through, but I do know a lot about courage. And I'm recognizing a lot of courage here. And I think there's nothing that cannot be completed with the proper allocation of courage, unity, and hard work. I want to tell you, I'm trying to hold real still for this thing forever. I want to tell you guys how I met Coach Jackson. I had a couple offers on the table to Coach Ball. He said, let's meet up at Starbucks. So I got there a little early, tried to go over some notes. This guy pulls up on a motorcycle, looking the way he does. My primary visual cortex was telling my cortex 2 different stories, and my limbic system a whole other. There's power in the narrative. 5 minutes later, I was a hired assistant coach. All right. I think that knowing the narrative or taking the time to hear the narrative is a big part of the solution. And I really appreciate you guys being here, and I appreciate allowing you for me to be here as well. Thanks a lot.
So my name is Brenda Rivas. I actually have been part of the Parkrose community for a long time, way before I had kids. My sister graduated from Parkrose High School years ago. And now I have 3 kids at the high school. We have been part of the Parkrose community since they were in preschool. So last week, I spent Wednesday morning just crying and usually my outlet is writing. So I'm going to read to you something that I wrote. It's not perfect, but these were my emotions at the time. So I'm going to go ahead and read that. And I didn't know what the outcome was going to be today. I told my kids, let's go out, support, show people that we're out here. Show people that this is our community and that we represent it. And that sometimes they're going to face things and we're going to be there and we're going to persevere. So here we go. I'm going to try not to cry. I wake up with a heavy heart. As a mother, an aunt, a friend, I worry. I worry every time my kids leave the house. Yes, it's normal to worry, but I worry even more knowing my kids are black and brown. When my son goes for a run, I always ask, do you have your phone with you? Check my watch, because I know how long it takes him. If it takes him longer, I call him. When my daughter drives, I worry. What if she gets pulled over? I'm not trying to be a controlling mom, but that text, "Mom, I made it," it's a peace of mind. When my oldest son wants to go hang out outside of the city, I worry. "Son, watch your surroundings. If things don't feel right, call me." No one should feel worried if your kid is going to make it back home safely because of how they look. My oldest son wants to drive soon. I worry. I have to do a one-on-one of what not to do if you get pulled over, and I'm late to the game. I need to do that with my daughter too. I worry for my nephews. I worry for my nieces. Still, we're dealing with this same, sorry for my cussing, shit from years ago. As a mother, I understand the worry now more than ever. Never that I thought that I would be dealing with this years later. I was part of the LA riots, and that took me back. It took me back, and I cried and I cried and I cried. So, the color of my skin does not define me, but in America it does. So I worry, I pray. Every time my kid walks out the door, I pray. God watch over them, bring them back home safely. I worry and I pray. Thank you.
2 years ago, and I'm not great at public speaking, but I'm gonna try my best. I just want everybody to give a show of hands who actually learned more about slavery from school than they did from the internet. I see no one's hand. I think that is very telling, that in America, we leave out over 400 years of history. We leave out over 400 years of oppression of my people. And that's really, I think that's where it really needs to start. It needs to start in the classroom. It needs to start with education about where we come from, where I come from. Growing up, I had to do most of my research about, where I come from the internet. I didn't really learn it in school. I come from a blended family. My mom is white, my dad is black. But when you look at me, I've accepted that the world doesn't see me as white or mixed. They see me as black because that's what I look like on the outside. That's people's first impression of me, is I'm a black woman. And I've embraced that with all I am. And I didn't learn much about slavery or the history of where I come from until I got to high school. I actually went to a private school before I came back here to Parkrose, the most diverse public high school, or the most diverse private high school in Portland, De La Salle North Catholic. And it was there that I learned so much more about who I am and where I come from, and realizing that this racism that we see today, it didn't just happen overnight. It happened years ago, hundreds of years ago, even thousands of years ago. It happened from the time that we owned slaves to now. It's systemic racism. It didn't just happen overnight. People aren't born to be racist. They grow up in a system that doesn't teach them what they need to know about Black lives, and that needs to change. I think it's sad that me, coming from a Black background, had to learn more about my history from the internet than I did in a classroom. And over the years, I've done lots of activism work since I've gotten into high school, and I feel like I hear the same thing over and over, is people saying, "Oh, well, I didn't know this." And I think we really need to take a look at education and really open our eyes and see there is a school to prison pipeline. People of color are being almost funneled out of high school into prisons, into jail. And we need to fix that problem. And it all starts right in here. It starts in the classroom. And I think, as educators, no matter what your race is, you all need to step up and you need to have a voice. And you need to understand that what you're teaching in your classrooms is going to transcend into people's lives, And I think we all just need to wake up and realize that it all starts here. It starts right here in the classroom. So, thanks.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Gabriel. I live here in the Parkrose community. I graduated from this high school in 2019. If you are a member of the class of 2020, please raise your hand or stand up. Hey, everyone please give that class a round of applause. You, the class of 2020, it gives me hope to see you here. You are the class that was cheated of things such as the senior all-night party, your graduation ceremony, the graduation walk because of this pandemic. But you are also the class that, despite that, when you saw an injustice, an innocent man being suffocated under the knee of someone whose duty it is to protect our rights and freedoms, you came out here regardless, because you were not afraid. That gives me great hope for the future of not only this community, but for our country. Who here remembers Nelson Mandela? Keep your hand up if you, like me, had a broken heart and were saddened when he passed away. Everybody's hand, right? I'd like to recall a quote from him to build off of the previous person speaking up. Sydney, was it? Education is the most powerful weapon with which you can use to change the world. When I first heard that, I didn't quite understand what that means. And then I thought about it and realized it's through learning about each other, about our cultures, our backgrounds, and by looking past people's skin color or nationalities, that we learn how to overcome communication barriers, culture barriers, and yes, even things such as injustice. Yes, we are in sad and dark and desperate times, but instead of focusing on the bad, let us do what we can to revive hope. These kinds of things are built on hope that we will succeed. I'm not sure what the future holds. I'm not sure when the policies that should be put in place will be put in place, but I can be sure of this thing to all of you, that as long as we keep this up, there will be change. Thank you.